Hi guys, my name is Tessa and today I'm going to show you the process of making a basic app on Codebots. Alright, so to start, this is the Codebots homepage and what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on that nice big green create a new app button. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a basic timesheet app today just as an example. Now you could do the quick start setup. I'm just going to show you the custom setup process so you know what it looks like. We do offer legacy migration, but today I'm just going to be starting from scratch. So I'm going to click custom app, and then I need to choose which bot I want to use. They're pretty much the same. Today I'm going to use C# bot though. So once I picked my bot, I just need to give my app a name. I'm just going to call it timesheets. Click the ready to build button, and the bots are going to go away and they're going to start setting up the things for me to work with. All right, so timesheet is ready. Now, if I want, I can invite people to my team, but today I'm working alone, so I'm going to dive straight into building my app. So once you've set up an app, the first page you land on is the build diagrams. So this is where you design out the structure of your application. We have 3 diagrams available on Codebots. We have the entity diagram, which is where you design your data structure. We have the interface diagram, which is the page and user interface structure. And then the security diagram, which is where you design who can access what and edit what. So to start with, we're going to do the entity diagram. So like I said earlier, this is the data structure, so kind of like your database. So what you're going to do is you add in entities to capture your data. So in my timesheet app, the first thing I want my users to be able to do is to create a timesheet. So I'm going to drag on a blank entity. I'm going to give it a name of timesheets. I'll give it a description. And just like that, my app will now start to be able to capture data about timesheets. However, I haven't told it what data I want to capture. To do that, I need to add in attributes. So the attributes are the information we want to capture. So for my timesheets, I'm going to want to capture things like a decimal for the number of hours worked. And so that's going to be a decimal number. I could also add in an attribute of let's just say a string, so standard text, and I can give it a name of description. So like what happened. All right, so my app can capture the timesheets, and when it captures the timesheet, I know the number of hours worked and what happened, but I don't know who made the timesheet. Now, I'm not going to use an attribute for this one because I want my staff members, who are the ones making the timesheets, to be able to log into the app. So to do that, I'm going to make a new user entity. So what that is it's a pre-built entity that we've made. You can see it's an entity just like the timesheet, but it's got this user extension in it. So you add an extension by clicking on the entity, clicking the extension, and then you can see the different extensions available. So normally you could click on user and it would add it in, but I don't need to because it's already in there. And we've also got the contact number and the date of birth. I'm going to add in one more attribute and I'm going to make it a decimal. So I just know their hourly wage. So what I can also do is I'm going to use what we called an enum, or an enumeration, to capture how my employees are paid. So I'm going to do it to find out whether they are paid casual, full-time, or part-time. So I create a new enum type, and I need to add the literals, which are the options. So I can have a casual literal, and I can add in 2 more, 1 for full-time and 1 for part-time. All right, so I've got this enum, but what I need to do is I need to associate it with my users. So to do that, I need to come back to the user entity. I'll add in an attribute with the type of enum. And what I can do is I can name it pay type. And then what I need to do here is I need to add a relationship between this enum and this enum attribute. So to do that, I hover around the edge of the enum, press and hold my mouse, and release it against the enum attribute. So now if I was to go and create a new user, I'd fill in all of these details and I'd also select what type of pay they also receive. So we've now got our users set up so they can be stored in the system, but I need to add a relationship so that the users can create the timesheets. So to do that, again, I hold on the edge of the entity, release against the other one, and I choose what type we want. And in this case, I'm going to need a one-to-many relationship because one user can make many timesheets. So that's the basic data that I need to capture for my app. I'm going to need one more thing. I'm going to need an entity for my administrator so I can have administrators log into the app. So I'll just call this one administrator, and I'm going to add the user extension to it. So by adding the user extension, that creates a new user group, so I can now have administrators logging into my app. I'm going to come back to this user entity, and I'm also going to call it staff, so I know the difference between my two user groups. And that is all the information I need to be able to capture inside my timesheet app. So we're going to move on to the interface diagram. All right, in the interface diagram, you can build out the page structure for your application. So mine's going to be really basic, so I only need one main page. I need a timesheets page where we can view the timesheets and we can also create new ones. So I'm going to add a new page. I'm going to call it timesheets. It's my home page, which is what I need. And then what I can do is I can start adding content to the page. So I can come over here to add items, and I can add in a whole range of different things to my page. In this case, it's going to be really simple. So I'm going to add in a heading element, and I might just write timesheets here. Then I can choose what level. In this case, it's the title, so I'm going to leave it level 1. And then the really cool thing I can do is I can come down to the extensions area. So the extensions are the pre-built functionality which is available from the bots. So you can see we've got timelines, we've got forms, but what I want today is the data table. So the data table gives your users access to the CRUD features for an entity. So if I have my data table, I can link it to an entity. In this case, it'll be my timesheets entity. And by adding this to the page, it will automatically give me a list of every timesheet made. It'll give me a create button. It'll give me a creation form, an editing form, and also the ability to delete timesheets. So just like that, I've got all the information I need for my app. All right, so I've got my interface now. I just need to configure my security before I build my app. So on the security page, you can control which user groups have access to which entities and pages. So my administrators, because they're admins, I need to give them access to everything. So I'll just select all of the boxes. My staff, however, they don't need to access any administrators. They don't need to be able to edit any of the staff, but they do need to be able to create, read, update, or delete their timesheets, and they need to be able to view the timesheets page. Now you can see here, we've also got the visitors group. Since my application is locked down, I don't want to give visitors access to anything, so I'll leave them blank. The last thing I need to do here is I need to give my administrators access to the backend. So to do that, I just edit the settings and I pick that button there, and then they will be able to go to the backend. So that is me. I've now built out all of the 3 build diagrams. So we are now ready to go to start building. So I'm going to hit this nice big orange button in the corner, and I just have to choose which Git repo I want to use. So at Codebots, we use Git repos to store your code. We believe in control. So if you want to set up your own Git repo, manage it yourself, you can do that. We can't see it or touch it. However, if you don't care, then you can use one of the repos we set up for you. Don't worry, no one else can access it. Only people who have access to the app on your site will be able to access the repo. So in this scenario, I'm just going to go ahead and use our own Git repo. So after we have chosen our Git repo, the build starts. So you can see in the background of your screen, there is a console. That is the genuine console that the bots are writing to, not some flashy little cool thing in the background. And here we have the fireworks. So the fireworks are a visual representation of the bots actually going to all the different files in your repo and writing to them and editing them. So you can see we've got some statistics down the side. You can see what percentage is written by humans or versus bots, how many files we wrote, how many lines we wrote. It's really cool, fascinating stats. And we've also got the folders down the side. So you can see the different file structure that's written in there. It is all genuine to how you would normally build an app on the text app. And what I'll do is I'm going to hit the launch app button. So this will set the app running in my browser. It takes about 10 minutes for me to get the launch code. But in the meantime, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the source code that was written. So this will just navigate me to the Git, where I signed in using my same Codebots account. And then I can access the application that I just wrote. So you can see here, I've got a README for my timesheet application, and it's got a whole bunch of details about the application itself. Now, if we were to go to one of the files which was just written, so I will just jump into the views, we'll just we'll go to the timesheets page, which I created earlier. And you can see here, this code is all human readable. It doesn't look like some robot went and wrote it. It looks like one of the developers who you work with might have done it. The only difference are these protected regions scattered throughout. So the protected regions are how the bots know what to touch and what not to touch. So they're scattered everywhere you might want to be able to edit the code. And if you want to edit the code, all you need to do is turn them on, and then you can do what you want and the bots will never touch that section again. Sometimes there is code inside the protected regions that you might want to change, but if you turn it off, the bots will continue updating it every single time you build. So you're able to get access to every single update that we release. Okay, so I've just received my launch email, so now we can actually start exploring our target application. Now, when you run your application for the first time, you do receive this onboarding process, which walks you through a guided tour of your application. So there's just a few messages around the app, the fact that you own it, how you can access your source code, which I've already shown you, and then you are greeted with the login screen. Now, we do have a super account built into all our apps, and that's what's filled in here. And now we can log in, and this is our application. So as you can see, this is the timesheets page, which I built earlier. So it's got the timesheets heading, which I added in, and then we've also got this data table tile. So what I can do is I can come in here, I can create timesheets, and I can fill in the number of hours worked. So if I went 7.5 hours, it was all good. And the user who made it, so you remember that relationship between the entities. Because this is a default app, there was one staff account made for me, and I can add that staff account here as the user associated with the timesheet. So I can submit that, and now we can see a list of all the different timesheets. I can come here, I can edit it, I can delete it, and just like that, it's all ready to go. Now, there is an administration section built into all of our applications. From here, you can view and manage your users, you can view and manage the data in your entities, and if you've got any extensions, you can also edit them here. And then you can also access things like your GraphQL and your OpenAPI or your Git, just for easy access. That's how you build a basic app on Codebots. I hope you enjoyed. If you're curious and you want to start building yourself, just head over to codebots.com. Hopefully we see you soon.